Welcome back to the Draw Pod. It's me, your host, Elyse. In this episode, I'll be chatting while doing a painting of something from Still Here, Still Life, which is an Instagram account I really like. I've done other pieces based off of their images before. You should check them out in the description of the podcast. Anyway, if you're new here, this is a visual podcast where I draw something and chat with you as I go. You really don't have to watch the video to know what's going on, and if you prefer to listen to it on a podcast app, it's available everywhere. But if you would like to watch the YouTube video, check out my channel, which is linked in the description of the podcast. And if you would like to see the final image, check out my art Instagram, which is at Elyse_draws, also linked in the description. In today's episode, I want to talk about the changes that come with a new season. I know that fall started a while ago, but only now do I feel like things are significantly different. But first, we're going to get into a few segments that I want to talk about. And I also wanted to mention that this is kind of crazy, but I'm filming this on Friday, November 6th, and it's going up on November 7th. And that never happens because I usually record it like 3 or 4 days ahead of time. But with the American election happening this week and still not being finalized, I've felt kind of weird about recording something if, like we're not going to know the result, and then like if that result could cause something crazy to happen. I don't know. But basically, I didn't want to record anything and then have it seem strange that I wasn't talking about anything. I don't know. Anyway, I'm not going to talk about the election in this podcast at all, but I just wanted to point that out. And also, if something crazy or just something happens and I'm not talking about it, it's because I'm recording this on Friday afternoon. So yeah, all that aside, let's get into my life update, my something new I learned, and a book update. So for my life update, I wrote down here that I did the 2-hour job search. I still have not done that, but I have been searching for jobs and kind of getting back on that grind of applying to things, and I'm kind of enjoying it a little more this time. I'm still a little disheartened a lot of the time about the results of it, or I guess the lack of results from my applications, but I'm still going ahead. I'm thinking of applying to more like social media coordinator positions as compared to graphic designer positions, just because it could be a good idea to do more communications, traditional kind of roles, and pursuing freelance illustration on the side. So I'm thinking that that's something I might want to do. It's nice to kind of open my options up a little more, so that's good. I'm trying to schedule a lot more calls with alumni and other professionals and learn from them. I had one this morning that was really wonderful. So yeah, I'm just gonna keep learning, keep working, and hopefully not get too down on myself. And it's funny too, because I feel like now I have time to apply to jobs, and that just sounds weird, but it's like, what have I been doing for the past 6 months then? I guess, October was a really busy month for me. And I also thought that I would be spending more fall time helping out my cousins with their schooling, but things turned out to be a lot better than we thought they would, and they're a lot easier, I guess, and there's not really any issues, so they don't need me. So I've just been making a lot of YouTube videos, doing the Peachtober thing, and just staying busy in other ways. But only now I kind of feel like I am ready to apply to jobs, so I guess it's a good thing. But yeah. Also, I joined an organization that's like for communicators in Austin, and that has been fun. I've enjoyed meeting new people, and I'm hoping that I can, get some really good mentorship and advice and things from other people in this organization. So very excited about that. I am supposed to be off of social media this month, and I have not done an outstanding job of that. I've had the apps deleted from my phone. Snapchat's been gone for a while, and then so was Instagram, but then with everything happening over the past few days, I really wanted to find out what my friends in a certain group chat were thinking about the things going on. So I re-downloaded Snapchat, to see, and there was nothing there. And then I also went in and I had to post to Instagram because I am posting things to Instagram, but I posted this thing that I'm painting right now, and that's good. But then I was like, ooh, I like to look at the likes that I have, or I like to look at the responses and respond to comments. And basically, I have not purely been off of social media for this month, but that is okay. I will hopefully next week get a little more serious about it and get into it. So I'm looking forward to that for sure. So yeah, I did that. And then I went to Lost Maples with my mom. I did this on election day because we just kind of wanted to get away and not be on our phones all day and be just thinking about things and stressing about things. So we did that, and it was so nice. I highly recommend visiting Lost Maples if you are looking for somewhere cool in Texas to just kind of get outside and hike. It is basically this kind of grove or like forest sort of maple trees, which are not supposed to be in Texas. That's why they're called Lost Maples. I think that's super cool. There's also a Lost Pines in Texas, or Lost Pines. So I think that's pretty neat. It was really nice seeing orange leaves. I think next week's video might be one of me doing a drawing or a painting of my experience in Lost Maples. So I'm very excited for that. But yeah, we just went on this pretty intense hike that I was not expecting it to be that intense. I think it was probably around 5 miles, and we were really traversing some cliffs, and I don't know, it was very steep, and then both ways, like up and down. So, but it was really nice, really beautiful, and a fun way to spend my day. And the last update that I wanted to share on my life is that I have started painting again, as you can see from this video, but I really love gouache. I'm really finding that this is a medium that I enjoy quite a lot, and it seems like I'm pretty good at it. And I never really got to paint using gouache. I think I might talk about this a little bit later on in the episode some more, but I never really got to paint with gouache in college, I guess because it's not really a common medium to use. I don't really know. I mean, we had it in the studio, but I think it was more for the outdoor studio classes, since it's sort of like a mix between acrylic and watercolor kind of thing. Although I'm finding it behaves a little bit more like acrylic to me. So I think that I like it because it does have the qualities of acrylic that I really like about it, but it just feels like it's easier to manage and wrangle as compared to using actual acrylic. And I just bought a box of, or a new palette where it keeps your paint wet for a long time. If you're into art, you may have heard of this, but if you haven't heard of it and you're in the market for one, I still haven't tried it yet. But it has a sponge in the bottom of it, and then you use a special type of palette paper, I guess, that they include with it that you can just reuse, and you can save your paints for a long time. And when you're just painting like this, like I am in this video, just chilling, painting, not really doing a long-term project, it keeps it pretty wet for several hours. But if you want to keep your paint, apparently you can keep it for weeks even. So I'm excited to try it out, and I hope it works, because I think that would make me, that would make me too powerful. If my paints didn't dry out, like, you guys better watch out. Anyway, something new I learned this week is related to this, and it's that painting is very relaxing for me, and it has been so long since I have enjoyed painting like this. It's been a really long time. I did painting one in school, and I did not really like it very much. It was okay. It was just acrylic painting. I didn't know about this special palette that'll save my paints, and it was just very you went along with like the professor's instructions and painted these still lifes, which now I would love to do, but I was learning things a little too technically for my tastes, and I know that it's important to learn technical skills, but mixing paints I find is just something that I enjoy doing a lot more intuitively, and I really like the quantity of gouache paints that I have. I'm starting to learn how they behave with each other, because fun fact, if you mix red and blue, it doesn't always make purple, surprisingly. And if you mix yellow and blue, sometimes it'll turn out differently when you're using paints. It just depends on what the pigments are in there and how they combine with the other pigments. But I am learning so much more now from doing these paintings and working with paints like this than I did before, whenever I was basically like mixing colors and doing these kind of little studies, and I just didn't enjoy that, but I recognized its importance. But because of that experience, I didn't really want to paint. I didn't want to make that my concentration in school. Also, I do have more of a passion for drawing, and I don't regret doing anything that I did in college in my art major. But yeah, I just wish I had given painting more of a chance. And then I got into it more my senior year when I did watercolors. But I think I'm finding that I like gouache even more than I like watercolor. So this is fun. I'm doing some pet portraits. I didn't really mention this that much, and I was going to. I today decided that I'm just going on about life updates into the something new I learned, but I learned that I like gouache, and now I'm doing an Etsy shop. I'm finally working on setting it up. I mentioned it several weeks ago, probably several months ago, that I wanted to do this, but I did some paintings of dogs, and I really like how they turned out, and my friends who saw them really liked how they turned out as well. So, and then they were like, you should start up an Etsy and do pet portraits for people. And I thought, hey, that's a pretty good idea. Maybe I'll actually do it, because actually doing the paintings, it didn't take me too long, and I would love to be able to draw and paint more cute pictures of puppies and cats for people. So I'm going to try and get a few of those extra samples done tonight or tomorrow, and finally get some listings up on my Etsy shop, and I'll be able to start making art for people and selling it on my Etsy. So I'll let y'all know when it's launched. But yeah, I'm really excited to start painting more, really working these gouache muscles, and hopefully making a lot of really new fun work. I'm feeling a lot more inspired now, and a lot more like I feel very confident now that I will really like the work I'm doing post-grad more than the work I did in college, which is good. That's a good thing to improve on and always be growing as an artist. So I'm excited to dive into it more. So as for a book update, I finished a book that I got from my neighborhood. I didn't tell y'all about this last week, but it is called Asymmetry by Halliday. It was an interesting book. I liked it. I think it was close to... It was like basically telling two stories, but it's all kind of united, and it's cool how there are like a lot of themes from other pieces of literature, and it's more than just kind of a surface level novel. There's a lot of kind of certain imagery and ideas and themes in it, and I feel like it's pretty like loosely connected, and the author could have done a better job connecting everything in the storylines and more clearly expressing the significance of things, and it wasn't like subtle in a good way, if that makes sense. But I really liked it, but I just think it fell short a little bit in that category. But from reading reviews on Goodreads, I learned a lot from other people's perspectives on the book, and it helped me understand it more. So I'm glad that I did that, and I'm glad that I just read that. It was really fun. I tried reading Tram 83, and it's just a little too difficult for me to read. From my understanding of the book, and from what I read on people's Goodreads reviews, it seems like it's a pretty complex book in terms of like prose, and it's maybe if you were an English major in college, or you're a really big fan of complex, fun, sort of experimental literature, you might like it. But I tried to put effort into reading it, and it just, I could see what was being done, but that type of literature is not something I really enjoy reading all the time. So I thought it was cool, but I will not be finishing it, and I've had to learn that it's okay not to finish books. It's totally fine. So now I think, so I'm still working through Moral Ground, which is a book I've been reading for the past several months. It's a pretty thick book. It's about 400 pages, and I have just been trying to get through it little by little. I'm going to try and step it up soon. So that's going to be good, and it is good. The last books I want to read this year are Blink, the fourth Alphas book, Borderlands / La Frontera, the new Mestiza, which is by Gloria Anzaldúa, who I've studied a bit in my Spanish major and in some of my other classes at school. And I've read excerpts from the book, but I've really wanted to read it. It is in both English and Spanish, so I'm looking forward to having a bit of Spanish reading to do. And then The Silent Patient is another one that just appeared on my Libby account. So I put that on my Kindle and I turned my Kindle wireless off. So I've got it for a little bit. And then I have one more book I want to read, and I don't know what it is yet. It's going to be one that's just laying around my room because I have a lot that I have not read. But yeah, I'm really excited to hit 25 books in 2020. I have read 19 now. I'm very proud of myself. I was going through my New Year resolutions from last year, and apparently, my New Year resolutions for 2020, and apparently I wanted to read 6 books. Crazy. I might have mentioned this last episode. But now I'm at 19. I have far exceeded this goal, and now I basically have to read around, I think, 30 pages a day to reach my goal, which is very doable, so I'm going to try and even work ahead a little bit. But yeah, what a fun year of reading. I've had so much fun learning about new things and just falling into stories, and I'm starting to really enjoy reading a lot more than just sitting on my phone on social media. Like I felt over the past week of me trying to be off of social media that I have this desire to just read books. Like I have a desire to read a book because it provides me with something more enriching than social media, and I think that's really good and very healthy that I'm starting to feel this desire. So, very good. So, like I said earlier, the topic of this episode is kind of daylight savings and fall changes and things that come with a new season. Again, it's been fall for a while, but in Texas, it has only started feeling like fall. So yeah, let me just talk about stuff for the next 10-15 minutes. Daylight savings and my thoughts. I mostly am not a fan of daylight savings, but I have to say that it has affected me less this year compared to how it has affected me in the past. Because when I was in college, I would, be in class all day, and then I would get out of class and it would be super dark by 5-something p.m. And that was just really not fun for me and made me very sad. And yeah, it was just always a part of the year I didn't look forward to. But I knew it was going to be kind of okay because we were going to have winter break soon. But I always just remember over the past 4 years, and kind of even in high school too, the November on for the rest of a year was always kind of challenging for me. So this year, though, it's gone a lot better, I guess, because I'm not in a classroom for a large portion of my day and doing things all the time. And it's kind of interesting to start waking up now. I was waking up more at 7:30 for a while and not sleeping in because it was getting so dark in the mornings. But now that it is so light at 6:30, I'm now starting to wake up at 6:30 again, and that's been pretty fun. Nice to kind of get back into it, except when I want to sleep in and my either internal clock or my phone clock that's waking me up wakes me up. Don't enjoy it. I also don't enjoy the new health app. The fact that the sleep thing is now in the health app instead of the timer app. And if you want to change your wake up time, you change it. You can only change it for one day. And then sometimes I mess it up. And then instead of doing 6 a.m., I make it 6 p.m. It's hard to explain, but it's been very frustrating for me. And I just wanted to complain about it for a second. But anyway, I am waking up early again, and it is weird. It has affected my eating schedule, the daylight savings, because I'm like, oh my gosh, it is so dark and I haven't eaten yet, thinking it would be 7 or 8. And I usually eat at 5 or 6. And it feels like it's so late, but it's not late. And it's just my mind tricking me. So I will not start eating dinner at 4 to fix this. I just will need to adapt, but that will be okay. So yeah, daylight savings fine this year, but if we all decide we want to get rid of it, I will join you in that quest because I think it is pretty dumb. I wrote down weather change. We did have a major cold front here in Austin about last week. I wrote out these notes for the episode whenever it was definitely in more full force, but we had several days in the kind of 40s to 50s, and that was very nice. I like being able to wear my sweatshirts everywhere. But my room gets really, really cold in the winter and really, really hot in the summer. So I did have a very challenging few days where I was just a little frustrated. You know, you wake up in the morning and you're just a little grouchy about the fact that I don't want to get out of bed. It's too cold, and to go anywhere in my house, I have to be wearing pants, a long sleeve shirt and a sweatshirt and socks everywhere. And I'm like, I don't want to get fully dressed up. I just want to wear my PJ shorts and my PJ shirt and no socks and go around my house. But unfortunately, it's just something I'm going to have to deal with. So that's fine. Holidays. Things about season changing. I really enjoy the holidays this time of year. Halloween was pretty fun for me. I played Animal Crossing, the Halloween event, and that was pretty enjoyable. I got all the special items. I saved up candy this past month to be able to earn the items and things, and that was fun. I didn't do anything else. The neighborhood kids were super cute, and they did a parade for us in their costumes and their little masks. It was very cute, so I was glad to see that. But no, we didn't put out any candy for trick-or-treaters. We basically just spoiled our neighbors and got them like nice full-size candy bars. So that was really cute. And then, yes, other holidays though. Thanksgiving is coming up, and I'm excited to see the few family members that are coming this year. Definitely a lot less, but I'm excited for that to happen and to do some cooking. I usually will do some sort of dessert every Thanksgiving. Sometimes in the past, I've been responsible for the cranberry sauce. But this year and like last year, I made some cherry kolaches, and I think I'm going to make another batch of cherry kolaches this year, but I might do it with cranberry sauce as well. Like do a separate batch that's like a cranberry kolache. I'm very excited about the prospect of this. And I also think I might go to the store after I record this podcast and go get some cranberry juice because that sounds excellent. I love cranberries. Even before the whole Dreams Man skateboard cranberry juice meme video came out, I was chugging cranberry juice. So yes, that is my cooking plan for my holiday coming up. And then for December, around Christmas time, I'm planning on trying to take on this very challenging endeavor of making tiramisu. And I found a recipe in this recipe book that I have been finding a lot of really good recipes out of. I really like it. It's called Bella's, and it's from a restaurant in Tampa, Florida. We somehow got it into our possession. And it's such a good cookbook, a lot of really good Italian food, and yeah, it has a tiramisu recipe, and there's just so many things involved. There's a sponge cake, there's I'm not saying it right or something, but the mascarpone, and just all, and there's like a ganache too, or something like that. I don't even know. I don't even totally know what tiramisu is. I just know it's kind of coffee-y. So that's going to be my big Christmas challenge, and I'm excited to be doing a lot more cooking this month as well, along with my whole being off of social media challenge that I'm not doing great at right now. Just because I think that I really enjoy cooking, and I want to do more cooking, reading, and painting while I am off my phone, and I think that's an excellent use of my time. So let's see, what else we got here? I wrote down, okay, very deep, internal seasons. I felt something change a bit in me, sort of. It's like I needed to spend time building my YouTube channel and focusing on art. And like only now I want to settle down and like apply to jobs and things, and I feel ready for a job. And yeah, I just wanted to mention that. Also, I kind of wrote this little note that I really like, and it just was one night. It's inspiring to me. I was like, I see and feel myself becoming a better person. And that's very exciting that is happening. And I'm really excited about what this next season of my life is. It's funny, a lot of people have been talking about seasons of life lately, and it's funny that I've just been hearing it more and more. And the first time I heard about this kind of idea was in my math class. I think it was in about 6th or 7th grade. My teacher was very, very pro this like one Bible quote where it's from Ecclesiastes. That's what I remember. And it's that there's like a time for everything, like a season for everything. And yeah, I've heard a lot more people, I've seen a lot more people quoting it lately, and this idea and talking about seasons of their life, and I think it's very interesting, and I feel like there is a change happening for me right now, and I'm very thankful and happy for it, and excited to have something new, always excited to try something new during this very, very stagnant year. Just a few other things before I head out, or I guess this is kind of my last thing, is that I set up my new bullet journal, and I was very excited to see that November started perfectly on the 1st, and that was I used up all of my bullet journal from this past year and a little over a year, and my sweet pink journal, and it was so great, and I finished on the last week of October on the last page, and then now I have my new beautiful blue bullet journal. It is really cute. And yeah, November started on a Sunday, which is exciting because that's when I start my weeks on my calendars. And so it fit in perfectly. And I went in and I kind of laid everything out using pencil, for the next year. Nothing too detailed, just kind of making sure I had a good amount of spacing between the pages. Because I always want to do monthly spreads, and I always forget to, and I always would forget to when I was in school, because I would be distracted and be like, I just need to flip the page and start a new week on here. So I organized everything. I'm very excited about it, and I finally feel like after I've gone through, this is my 4th bullet journal, I feel like I'm finally landing on a weekly spread that really works for me. So I'm hoping I like this kind of layout for the rest of the year, this year and into 2021, because that is kind of what I'm stuck with unless I make some very minor changes. But yeah, that's very exciting, and I'm putting a little more effort into kind of crafting it up a little bit. I found some very inspiring paintings from Pinterest that I really like, and I've saved into my art folder, and it's just kind of what I want my art to look like in several ways. And I printed those out, and I made them kind of like the background for a new month. So I have for my monthly spread, I have one page with this beautiful Pinterest painting from an artist that I'm really interested in, and then it has the date on a white slip of paper, or the month on a white slip of paper, and then on the next facing page to it, I have the kind of squares for the month and just some notes for the month, and then I go into my weekly spreads. Anyway, I'm hoping that that's inspiring to me and helps me remember some of my goals as an artist for this year. So yeah, really looking forward to it. So this pretty much has been my whole podcast. This is the end of my podcast. Thank you for listening. I really appreciate you and your time, and I will talk to you next week. Remember to give this video a like and subscribe to me if you're not. Let me know if you want to see more gouache paintings. You will be getting more gouache paintings, but let me know what you thought. Make sure to follow me on my Instagram, which is @Elyse_draws. I'm starting to post a lot more stuff on there and a lot more paintings and art that I'm very proud of. So yeah, I will talk to you on Tuesday for my next video, or I'll just chat with you next Saturday for the next episode of the Draw Pod. I hope you're staying safe and you and your family are doing well. Okay, goodbye.